day long, so let them know to come on out, wake up, get their sleep out their eyes, and come on and hang out with us today. And we're going to have a phenomenal time. We're just going to wait for a few more people to sit down here, and I'm going to open us up with a prayer. Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we first and foremost thank you for letting us be allowed to see another day, dear God. We thank you, dear God, for ordering our steps on a day-to-day basis. We ask you, dear God, to help us to be our blueprint, to guide and order our steps on a day-to-day basis, Father. They have the National Association for Real Estate Brokers Community Impact Day, Father, and hopefully everybody will learn something, because, dear God, in the African-American community, it has been a struggle with home ownership, and things are going in the wrong direction, and we need to recrown and regroup ourselves to get to where we need to be, dear God, to be successful here. We're going to talk today to the youth as well, Father, to have a lasting legacies for them as well, college students, and even people who are not in college. It's never too late to learn, to get themselves out of a financial quandary where they might be having some trouble with debt and things like that. We have people who are going to hear for credit, mortgage, insurance, and just all different realms of business. And hopefully we have money here today with, like Wells Fargo, some other companies are here today to have money out there, Father, to assist people into reaching these goals. Once again, God, dear God, we thank you and we adore you for all that you do through your Son, Jesus Christ. Let us all say, amen.
Thank you for that beautiful prayer, Chris. Let's give him a hand and let's give God some glory. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone. I'll introduce myself. I am Roz Booker. I'm the Faith-Based and Community Engagement Chair for the North Texas Association of Realtists, aka NARAB North Texas. We've been advocating for black home ownership for 77 years to bridge the gap to get us to where we need to be. We are wealthy, healthy, and wise, and we just thank God that we have so many constituents here today, consumers, alliances alike, that is going to be so empowering to lift us to a place of the wealth that God promised. We're going to take a little detour in our program. We are happy, proud, and honored to have Mayor Gerald Hudspeth, the mayor of the city of Denton, with us. Can we just give him a hand? Yes, yes, yes. They did something very special for us in a few days, and we just want to honor the city of Denton for doing such to push our proclamation request through. We felt that this day was big, and it is, as 101 chapters under the NARAB umbrella across the nation is rallying, is educating, is lifting and empowering consumers as we speak right now. So over 100,000 people are going to be educated, and that consumer confidence is coming back to our communities so that, again, we can lay hold of the wealth that has been promised. So Mayor Gerald, would you please come on up, and I am going to ask our immediate past president and all of our board members for NARAB to please come forth.
Thank you. Right, we'll let them come up. And while they're doing that, yeah, so born and raised here in Denton, and honored to be here, honored to be asked to participate. It's giving glory and honor to God, to all the ministers here, and everyone that's helped pull this together. I'm truly grateful for the work you do, the information you're sharing, and for me, the other important thing is the people here will then disseminate that information further, and you kind of, that's how those movements start, and we continue to educate each other and help each other, and it's difficult. So I'm at times, right? We're placed for such a time as this. I believe that, and so I'm the first mayor that looks like me in Denton. First through the brick wall's rough, right? But it's necessary to inform others and help others understand. So I hope in that same way that the work you're doing, the information you're gathering, that wisdom gets disseminated to others and we get others plugged in. So I'm grateful for the work that the community is doing, and it's a focus for the city of Denton. And so as you gain that information and there's things that other cities are doing, please share that with the city of Denton so that we can get that to our staff so that we can replicate those successes you're having in your community. I do have a proclamation that I'll read, and please forgive me. I'm going to read and run, but I have a forum to attend for campaign stuff, and then there's some other events. But I'm honored to start my day here in the church house. That's awesome. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes, yeah. So with that, I'll read the proclamation. It's a proclamation by the mayor of the city of Denton, Texas, to all whom these presents shall come. Greetings. Whereas the National Building Black Wealth Community Impact Day was recognizes the imperative to address disparity in home ownership and wealth building opportunities within our communities. And whereas the National Association of Real Estate Brokers has launched initiatives to empower African American families towards home ownership and aiming to connect over 2 million mortgages ready renters with the resources and information they need. And whereas we acknowledge the historical barriers faced by the black communities in accessing home ownership and building wealth. And a little bit about that, I'll pause for a second there, because when my parents moved here in 1971, they could only live on this side of town. The other side wasn't renting to people. And the county records for me, born here in Denton County, 1972, city of Denton, but Denton County, black mom, black dad, my birth certificate says Negroid. That's what they attributed to black families when they were having kids here. So we've got a lot of work done, a lot of work to do, but that mission, and I'll go back there to say, whereas we acknowledge the historical barriers faced by black communities in accessing home ownership and building wealth is a real thing for me. And whereas the efforts of the NAREB in collaboration with the local chapter of North Texas Association of Realtists and partners exemplify in a commitment to education, empowerment, and advocacy for black home ownership and economic empowerment. Now, therefore, I, Gerard Hudspeth, Mayor of the City of Denton, Texas, do hereby declare and proclaim the 13th day of April 2024 as Building Black Wealth Community Impact Day in the City of Denton, and urge all citizens to participate in free educational activities and events organized by NAREB and its partners. If we give them a hand. Yes.
Again, we want to thank our board. We want to thank Bishop Hornsby and Superintendent Harden as they open up their church home and their membership to us to be able to educate the community out there. This relationship is just not a local relationship. It's also a national relationship. We have an MOU, or a Memorandum of Understanding, with the Kojic churches nationwide. So they have agreed to work with us and help us build black wealth out there. So we again want to thank them for opening up their home to us. And this is the beginning of a great relationship.
Thank you so very much. I am excited about NAREB, what they're bringing to this community, to our church, and I'm just overwhelmed. So thank you so very much. To all of you that have come today, thank you so very much.
be everything you can be, make as much money as you can, so you can live wherever you want to live.
Once again, on behalf of NARAB, we appreciate you all coming out, but we also want to ask, is any ministers in the house, would they please stand? Give all the ministers a hand. Thank you so much. We appreciate your help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. We're going to continue. As you can see, we have a robust schedule, and things are going to move fast. We're just to kind of give you a high-level overview. Mr. Carter, don't go anywhere. You're about to do the history. Mr. Carter, stay up here, please. So we do have a very robust and strategic schedule because we have rotating sessions. We have the civic and social session. We have mortgage. We have credit. We have real estate investing, real estate development. We have, goodness, what to do with Big Mama's house that's coming up. So we have so much in store. Yes, ma'am. Awesome. So we actually have a greeting from Wells Fargo. If Daryl would please approach the stage, please, to have a greeting. And then after the greeting, we're going to have Mr. Harold Carter share the history of NARAB, and then we're going to move swiftly to our other activities for the day. Mr. Daryl.
Good morning, everyone. Let's get some energy going on in here. How you doing, audience? What an outstanding morning to come together, right? And I want to take a moment and just acknowledge the beautiful people here. Tell me, if you feel like you look blessed, say I'm blessed today. I say, audience, if you feel like you look, say I'm blessed today. Amen, amen. My name is Daryl Smith, and I am a mortgage bank sales consultant for Wells Fargo. I prepared a statement today, and I'm going to share that with you. On behalf of my colleagues at Wells Fargo, I'm honored to be here with all of you today for the NARAB Building Black Wealth Day. I'd like to recognize the people who made this event happen. The National Association of Real Estate Brokers have put together an incredible tour for you guys, set to empower our communities across this country. I extend my gratitude and thanks to all the co-sponsors, supporters, volunteers, as well as the elected and appointed officials with us today, all who give us their unwavering support to Black and African American communities. Events such as today are given back to our communities in a beautiful way, and we are thrilled here at Wells Fargo to be a part of this critical work. As one of the largest bank home mortgage originators, Wells Fargo has demonstrated a long-term commitment to develop solutions that help close the gap and contribute to a more inclusive housing system. Just like NARAB and its Realtist members, we are committed to advancing Black and brown home ownership. Can I get a round of applause for that? As we plant seeds today in building Black wealth for generations to come, it is critical that we work tirelessly to advance racial equity in housing and close the gap in home ownership rates. I want the audience members to raise the number 1. Come on, you can do it low and cool. You can do it loud and proud. Everybody put up the number 1. We have an opportunity to make an impact, and I am proud to be a part of Wells Fargo and the work that we are doing. I believe even that we can do more, but we won't change the difference, the disparity in our home ownership gap overnight. We won't do it by ourselves. Doesn't work that way. But together, with your cooperation, helping us identify eligible home buyers, eligible properties, we can make an impact, one homeowner at a time. How many? One homeowner at a time. You can put your hands down, guys. Thank you for that. I invite you to visit with us in some of our breakout sessions, some of my colleagues here, as we explain in more detail some of the advancements and resources we're prepared to provide. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and thank you for my team supporting this opportunity. Welcome.
Thank you, brother. Once again, I'm Harold Carter, and I have the distinct pleasure of talking a little bit about NARAB's history. And before I tell you about NARAB's history, let me give all the honor and all the glory to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I'm going to ask you to forgive me too, because I made two mistakes in my life, two major mistakes in my life. When I was 3 years old is when I should have got in real estate. And when I'm 4 years old is when I should have joined NARAB. But this is a proud organization. This is a fighting organization. Let me tell you that first. We've been fighting for our people since 1947. But we started fighting because of things that was happening before 1947. And we got the history of NARAB in a brochure out front where you can read all the details. But let me just fill you in on just a few of them. If you will, just go back in your imagination to 1947. Most of you may not have been around then, but I think I was around even during that time. But what happened in 1947, to get a group of people together, if this organization was born in 1947, first of all, and it was formed by 12 people, 11 men and 1 lady. That's all we needed, just one of these sisters to be among the groups. And they started this organization, but they had looked around what was going on in our community. We couldn't buy where we wanted to, and we couldn't live where we wanted to. We were controlled. And we talked about Big Mama's house before I tell you a little bit more about NARAB. I'm a recipient of Big Mama's house. In 1924, I wasn't around then. My grandmother and my granddaddy bought a piece of property in Corsicana, Texas, a little old dusty town in Navarro County. They paid $2,000 for that little old land. They bought one lot and an extra next door to it. And they struggled to pay $6 a month. $6 a month. They struggled to do that. But guess what? They had the vision. They left it to their son, and their son left it to me. I own that piece of land that Big Mama fought so hard to get. But let me tell you, Big Mama couldn't live where she wanted to at that time. We bought in the hood for $6 a month is what she was paying. I don't want to tell you what it's worth today, but Big Mama was kind to me. Let's put it like that. But I tell you, we are a fighting organization. What was going on, discrimination, redlining, predatory lending, everything you could think was against us. So we had to fight hard. But NARAB came together under one voice and fought for us. Even today, we're fighting for what's going on in our community today. That's why we're here today. We understand the value of wealth. Remember, I'm a recipient of Big Mama's house, Big Mama's land. But let me tell you, we're fighting today for things that you don't, it's not overt, it's covert right now. Right now, lending, getting homeowners, getting loans, interest rates, all those things have been a challenge for us. NARAB has addressed all of those issues, so that's why they came forward and spoke with a voice in our best interest. So when you have an organization to speak in your best interest, you got to appreciate that. So I'm standing on the shoulders of some great people. I might be a little overweight, but I'm still standing on the shoulders of some great people. And that's why I love NARAB today. Here we are in the year 2024, still fighting for our people. I hope you can appreciate that. But we don't give up. We never give up. We understand what's in our best interest. You can talk about all the gold you want to. You can talk about all the silver you want, all the stocks and bonds. One thing about it, you can't live in it. A house is the only place you can have where you can live in your wealth. And I want to tell you, since I know for a fact since 1924, the value of real estate has gone up, up, and and up. So now, if you're going to live somewhere, you're going to pay for it. You might as well live in a house. So NAREP got all the reasons. They brought all the resources to here for you. And we got those resources as an accumulation of things that's happened to us in the past. And we don't want it to happen to us going into the future. Every one of us here can and should own a home. NAREP is here today to make sure that happens for you. And I appreciate Superintendent Horton. I appreciate you all for coming out. Now, NAREP, like I said, in 1947, we still going today. So when you see me here in the year, well, I better not say that I am in the church, but I thank you for coming so much. If you need any information, you see all these people in these yellow shirts, they can help you, they can guide you through. And I want to tell you now, I talked about Big Mama, but I also bought a house. And I want to tell you today, when I first bought that house, I was struggling. I didn't see how I could make it. I didn't believe there was no way I'm going to be able to make these payments. I own that house today. That house is 3 times, I think it's 3.5 times of what I bought it back then. So I am living proof of the value of home ownership. So I'm also one other apology I got to make. If I speak too long, blame it on the fact that I am a deacon in a church. So if you give me a mic in a pulpit, I might talk. We're going to close now.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, for that wonderful history. So glad to be a part of NAREB, and we have a pioneer, right? He definitely champions the organization. Can we just say something? Let's loosen up, okay? I feel like we need to do some jumping jacks or put on some praise music. Can we just put a quick praise song on? Is that inappropriate? Because, we got a program. It's the foundation, but can we let the Holy Spirit move? Okay. We're going to bring up, can we get about 30 seconds or something real quick or no? Can y'all move that quick? Anybody bring a praise with them? Anybody bring the Lord with them today? Hallelujah. Can we just shout hallelujah? Hallelujah. All right, well, we're not here for that. We're going to go ahead and move on in to the next thing in the program. By the way, I just want to make an announcement that when the vendors return to their tables, everybody frequent and visit the vendors. They have a little sticker to put on the scavenger card to say that you have been there. You have an opportunity to win several times today a prize. It could be a gift card. It could be a prize of an unknown value. But we're giving away stuff today. We're giving away stuff. You have seed in the ground. It's your harvest season. You're in the right place at the right time. We're going to bring up our immediate past president and founding member of NAREB, Ms. Laura Washington again. And she is going to go over the Sheba report. That's the state of housing in Black America. She's going to just give you a high-level overview of some very important information you need to know, some demographics and stats that you need to know about home ownership in Black America. And she's also going to take us into the ABCs of real estate for those who have their rotating sessions that are starting. You are starting on time, so at any time you need to get up. Please do so because we have consumers that need you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roz. My name is Laura Washington. I am the immediate past president and the founding president of the NAREB North Texas chapter. And I will also be the incoming state president in June. So looking forward to that and serving our state. But the Sheba report, State of Housing in Black America. That report, NAREB established that report about 10 years ago. And that report gives an in-depth detail about the Black community and housing. Some of the statistics from that report, it states 2.4 million, that's 2.4 million millennials are credit worthy and credit ready to purchase homes, but live in apartments or they live at home. We need to be encouraging them purchase real estate. 44% of us own homes, while 74% of our counterparts own homes. So that's 30% gap there. So NAREB is doing their job to bridge that gap in homeownership. So we have 101 cities to date doing the same thing. The national president wants us to reach 100,000 Black Americans on today talking about wealth building. Not just in real estate, but in other things. But real estate, 52% of our wealth comes from real estate. But yet only 44% of us own homes. Statistics also show that by the year 2053, if we don't do anything to change that, the wealth in our community will die off. So we have to start today, start building wealth in our community, and we have to start doing that by purchasing real estate. That 2.4 million millennials that are credit worthy and ready, we need to be reaching out to them and encouraging them to buy a duplex. Own one side, rent the other side, and let that side pay for that mortgage. Hold that for a couple of years, use the equity from that, purchase another property. We have to teach them that. We don't know it because we have a lack of knowledge, and it's our job to help educate them and move them on. I'm going to give you some other stats. This is for Dallas proper. Last year, there was 421 mortgage applications taken. 11,095 were white, compared to 2,643 black applications in 2023. That's a huge, huge gap there. But here's the kicker. Out of the black loan, 23.27% of our applications were denied. We need to get to the bottom of that, and that's what NAREB is doing. NAREB is working on a national level as well as a state level, et cetera, to help bridge those gaps and to help put things into place so that there's not a big disparity between what we do and what the others do. One of our biggest challenges as a black community are student loans. So we have to change that, and that's what we're here for. We have different classes. We have a class on student loans and different things to help you. Now, you're not going to get everything today, but there will be follow-ups. So make sure that if you have questions, concerns, you put it on those cards that we have out there so that we can have follow-ups and make sure that we are answering your questions. Because as an organization, unlike NAR, where it's just strictly real estate agents, our organization consists of, if you touch real estate in any kind of way, whether you are a real estate agent, a real estate broker, an inspector, an appraisal, all of our members touch that. We're a one-stop shop. We have developers, et cetera. We're a one-stop shop. So if you're not working with a realtist, because that's our trade name, make sure the next time you buy or sell real estate or need insurance, et cetera, that you look for a realtist, because we will help you and we'll make sure that you are educated and that you receive the information needed for you to build wealth in your community, in our community. Thank you. So I'm going to go into the ABCs of real estate. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of real estate. You had a question? Okay. How many of you have never owned a home and looking to purchase a home? Okay. How many of you have never purchased a home and you're looking to purchase a home? Okay, awesome. How many of you already own homes? Awesome. How many of you are looking to downsize and need to buy something else? growing family and you need to upsize. And that's great. So probably about 70% or so raise their hand that they own or are looking to own, etc. So that's a good thing. So first thing you want to do when you're looking to buy, whether you've already purchased a home or before, things have changed. Even if you purchased a home last year, things have changed. So you always want to make sure you get some type of education before you go into the process, to make sure you are well informed on what's going on out there in the market, so that you're just not rushed through the process and don't know or don't understand what's going on. The first thing you want to do is meet with a professional. And who do you want to meet with? What type of professional? A realtist, not a realtor, a realtist. You want to meet with a realtist, and within the realtors, again, there are real estate agents, real estate brokers. You want to start with that process so that they can educate you. Make sure that they're giving you a consultation so that you will know and understand what the process is in purchasing a home. Because that's one of the biggest purchases that you're going to make is a home. So it can be a very intimidating process, very scary process, but you want to make sure that the person that you're working with, you're comfortable with them and that they are explaining and they're guiding you through that process. Once you get with a real estate agent or realtist, they're going to make sure that you, can you hear me now? Okay. They want to make sure that you are qualified, so they are going to make sure that they partner you with one of their partners or a realtist lender out there. We have several of them that are out in the foyer, so if you're needing to speak with one today, they're out there. So they're going to make sure that you are pre-qualified and know how much you are qualified for before you get out there to purchase a home. If this is your first time purchasing, please don't go out there and start looking, because you don't know what your buying power is. You want to know what your buying power is so that you're not out there looking for the $500,000 house, but when your debt to income tells you that you can only qualify for a $300,000 house. So we want to make sure that you are living within your means, because as I tell all of my clients, what's on paper and reality are two different things. We all look good on paper, but the reality is what we need to take into consideration. Once you get qualified and understand the process, know what your buying power is, and the next thing you're going to start doing, your real estate agent is going to take you out to start looking at some homes. Make sure you know your wants and needs and what you can live with and what you can't live with, because you're not going to find everything you want in that home. So understand the location is important, etc. When you're purchasing a home. So make sure that you know what you want, locations, etc. Your real estate agent, based on your buying power, will be able to tell you, okay, this is what you qualify for, so these are the areas, etc., that you can purchase a home in that price range. Once you find that home and you start looking for the home, you find the right home, then your real estate agent is going to help you make an offer on that home. Once you make that offer, you're going to start negotiating with that seller on that home, and one or three things are going to happen. They're going to say yes, they're going to say no, or let's negotiate. So it's always going to be one of those three things. Yes, no, negotiate. Always go in with an open mind. Right now we're in a buyer's market. We're not in that seller's market anymore where people were paying crazy money to purchase a home. Buyers have a little bit more control now, and they can ask for things. When we were in that seller's market, sellers weren't giving anything, but they're now back giving incentives, offering incentives. Even builders are offering incentives now to purchase homes. So know your options out there. Once you negotiate that contract, you go under contract, You're going to have what we call a due diligence period if it's an existing home, and that's called the option period. And that's where you basically pay a certain amount of money for a certain amount of days to the seller and say, Mr. Seller, I want you to take your house off the market for X amount of days so that I can do my due diligence. That's where you're going to have your home inspection and everything. I highly, highly recommend that you have a home inspection. It does not matter whether it's an existing home or a new construction home. You'd be surprised what you find in a new construction home. So make sure that you're always doing a home inspection on any property that you purchase. So you go past the period and you go through the loan process, etc. Then it comes time to closing. Time for you to sign your life away. And I mean sign your life away. And you go to the title company. You sign, you pay whatever your portion of what you have to pay. Some people are fortunate enough not to have to pay or get money back at closing because they qualify for down. Or firefighters or anything in here today. There are special programs out there for you. So they're different. So make sure when you're buying that you team up with an agent and a lender that does those type of programs, because there's a lot of lenders that don't do down payment programs. So make sure you're asking those important questions out there when you are teaming up with someone. After you sign those final documents and they say you have funded, that means the lender has sent the money over to the title company, you get your keys. And then it's move-in day. So you move through that process, and I went through it pretty fast, so there's multiple steps. So just make sure if you are not understanding the process that you're going through, ask questions. I tell my clients all the time, I don't care if you ask me that same question 50 times, I'm going to answer it 50 times because I want to make sure you understand the process and you're just not being moved through that process. So if you're working with someone that's always rushing you or don't have time to answer your questions, just know that you have options out there. And make sure that you move to someone that's going to take the time and work with you and really go through that process with you, because again, it can be a nerve-wracking process and we want to try to make it as easy as we can for you. So just make sure that you get with the Realtist first, and that Realtist has a pool of resources out there, because you may not know, okay, what lender I can go to, or an inspector, or if you need some work done on the house, etc. We have a pool of resources within our membership that can assist you with that process. Any questions? Okay, so you guys are well equipped and ready. Those that raised their hand about first time buying, you're ready to go buy that house, right? Ooh, I'm like, Roz, you guys are real quiet. So I am complete here. If you have any questions, I am right back there. And again, we have other resources in here that can answer any questions for you guys. And again, we will be doing follow-up, because sometimes we may not have the answer to your question right then, but we have the resources out there to get the answers for you.
Knowledge is power. But when we have the wisdom to do something with that knowledge, that's even better. And it's not a sales pitch, it's the truth. The truth is we have to pay somebody's mortgage, whether it can be our own or somebody else's. And people say, well, the interest rates are really, really high. Where if you're renting right now, that's 100% interest. Ever thought about it like that? This is wonderful. Many of you, when you checked in, you registered, you received a little form like this. We are at the place that we're going to do a drawing before we transition into our next session. So we'll spend the next 3 minutes. If you want to fill that out and have an opportunity, we'll pass the little basket around. Madam Laura, do we have our first, yes, gift card to draw? And just so that we make it fair, I am going to ask someone that's not associated with NARAB, probably I'll ask the videographer, the photographer, to please pull one. Yeah. We'll give people a few more minutes. Oh yeah, we're going to be winning all day. Just take a few minutes. Just want to make an announcement. Please visit every booth, every vendor, because that's also an opportunity not only to get a plethora of information and knowledge from each vendor, but we will be collecting those after you get a sticker from every vendor. We recognize, I think 2 vendors did not show, and that's okay, we know who they are. But if you can fill up your vendor card by getting a little sticker, by visiting every vendor. Most of the vendors are under the tent. We do have 5 vendors in the foyer, and we have 2 vendors, exhibitors that are in here. This is a shameless plug. That's my booth. Yes, that's me when my hair was pulled out and pressed, right? Arbrook Realty. We have Miss Laura Washington in the back there. And then we have BCL. Wave your hand. Yep. We have his booth inside. So please, please, please visit their booths. Okay, anybody else still writing, say, hold on. Okay. We'll mix these up. Y'all, we made that time up in the air. We are back on schedule. We got one more coming. And I would like to not only, again, just acknowledge our Heavenly Father, I want to acknowledge my knight in shining armor, the man who came and swept me up off of my feet. And he he puts up with me, and he allows me to do things just like this. Can y'all give it up for my hubby, Mr. Steve Booker? Other than Jesus, he's the greatest servant that ever lived. Yes, I said it. I'm bragging. All right. And Miss Laura, what is the gift? It is a drum roll. How many like Chick-fil-A? Hey, Chick-fil-A card. Y'all come back. Y'all stay here. Come back. We're going to have more. And I'll let you read.
This goes to last name Leonard, Sharifa Leonard.
Woo! Thank you, Ms. Sharifa. We'll mark that you won. Excellent. Again, we have rotating sessions. If you registered and saw the 2 framed QR codes, platforms for QR codes, it did have a copy of today's run of service or run of show. And I will just take a moment so that you know if you're in the right place at the right time. We're going to be handing the mic over for this session in the sanctuary to Chris Ziegler. Chris Ziegler will be moderating our HBCU Divine 9 panel, Fresh Starts, Lasting Legacies, which is going to start in about 2 to 3 minutes. Chris Ziegler is a Kappa Alpha Psi, and he will have a panel of Divine Nine constituents, and we have a guest speaker from the Divine Nine, Mr. J.B. McGinnis. So that is going to start here in the sanctuary at 10:30. Also starting at 10:30, so we got things going on for everybody. We have a civic and social session in room 11. We have the president of the NAACP, Collin County, June Jenkins, Bev Davis, Minister Mary Woodson, and they're going to be talking about fair housing, HUD, loopholes, housing authority programs. Y'all know housing authority just don't help people with rental assistance. They have voucher programs for home ownership, not only for subsidy to get you to home ownership that will pay thousands of dollars to help people get into homes, but they also have programs for veterans. So you definitely want to take a listen to that session. We also simultaneously have going on at 10:30 a mortgage session. We have Miss Rhonda Hutchison. She's the managing broker of Emergence Mortgage, and she is the subject matter expert on reverse mortgages. That sounds kind of scary. You need to be in there to speak with her. There was quite a few people who raised their hand that they own their home already. She's going to tell you how to expose the myths about reverse mortgages and get to know the truth. Because the truth is, it could be a foundation for wealth building. Okay? We also have the credit session. Kip Dixon with Cadence Bank is going to be talking about the importance of correct information on your credit. I don't know how long it's been since we've looked at our credit, but he's going to give you some tips and tools on that. That's in room 5. And the mortgage session is in room 3. Any one of the hall monitors or room monitors can get you to the right location. We have a veteran section going on right now. Valerie Ballard, Operation Tiny House. If you ever wanted to know about development in terms of tiny homes, you want to be in there, and she's going to be speaking to veterans about that. That's room 4. We have real estate investing and development. We have Miss Delisa Rose. If you wanted to know about development, she at 10:30 is going to be in room 13. Wanted to make a point, see myself or Miss Laura in the back. If you want a one-on-one session with a realtist, an attorney, which actually that's coming later this afternoon. Our attorneys are not here yet. A one-on-one with a credit counselor, or if you need specific prayer. If you will come to us, we will get those 15-minute sessions scheduled for you. If you want to just go into the prayer room, that's room 7. There is someone on duty all day long that will pray with you. Without further ado, I would like to bring Chris Ziegler up to the platform to start his session. Thank y'all.
Now y'all give her a round of applause. See her boo over there is really clapping for her over there. Good morning once again. My name is Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler Agency Allstate. I'm located in Frisco, Texas, but I serve the DFW Metroplex and the whole state of Texas, and I'm just happy to be here today for this momentous occasion with the National Association for Real Estate Brokers Community Impact Day. And I'm pleased to have the privilege of doing this particular session, which is Fresh Start and Lasting Legacies, sponsored by the HBCUs and the Divine Nine. And HBCU, if you don't know, stands for Historically Black College and University, and the Divine Nine are the fraternities and sororities, African American fraternities and sororities that are established at these different institutions. I'm a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I've actually attended 2 HBCUs, Grambling State University and Philander Smith College. But I'm really pleased to bring up here shortly a renowned speaker and author, J.B. McGinnis, who's my fraternity brother as well. JB does a lot of things for the fraternity as a whole, and he's actually over GLAD, which stands for Greeks, learning, avoid debt. And the thing that's neat about this, although we're focusing in on youth and people who are in college and younger folks, as we know, as we heard of today, that some people here still, who are older, have still not had the opportunity to buy a house or had the education in order to be able to be in a position to do that. So a lot of times we say you might be older, but you're still young at heart, and we can always learn at the same time, and that's what we're here for today. So although we say we're trying to gear towards younger and college people, like I said, we're all young at heart, and we're going to have JB come up here in just a second. JB is a prior servant of the military. Like myself, we were both in the U.S. Army. He actually started off as an enlisted person and then actually moved up to become an officer, which is a tremendous feat within itself. So once again, perseverance and taking the time and initiative to do one of the things that we focus in our fraternity, which is the fundamental purpose is achievement, and we're always trying to achieve from that standpoint. So without further ado, I want to bring up J.B. McGinnis, a renowned author and speaker, to go over a few things in his book today, and then we'll have a panel shortly following that. Thank you, and here we have J.B. McGinnis.
We kind of thinned out here. Is it my deodorant or what's good? Okay, well, I'm being streamed. That's absolutely outstanding. So if I'm being streamed, let me first have everyone understand how I think. On my way here, I wanted to pick up something to drink, and so I decided to go to Starbucks. But you all know that Starbucks lines are so long that it was pretty crowded, and I don't attend and actually go to Starbucks regularly. And so when I got in the line, the drive-through, I didn't know what I wanted, and they had cappuccinos and frappuccinos and all these different lattes, and I was looking all over the board, and I didn't know what to get, and the guy behind me, I can see through my rearview mirror that he was getting agitated because I was looking at the menu and I just didn't know what I wanted. And he actually was, I saw him like being agitated at me. And I'm like, wow, just give me a second. And so I end up just, ordering a hot chocolate because it was so confusing, right? But this guy, as I was ordering, he was so agitated, he actually gave me one of those bump on the horn. So I ordered my hot chocolate, moved up. The line was long. When I finally got to pay, I said, hey, as an act of kindness, I'm going to pay for the guy's drink behind me, because he's agitated. And so I paid for his drink. I moved up. He was, once again, still behind me. And when he moved up to pay, he saw that I paid for his drink. And I saw him in the mirror, and he kind of like, thank you, I'm sorry. So when I finally got up to get my drink, I got my drink, his drink, and drove off. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. So that's to break the ice. My name is J.B. McGinnis. I'm a financial literacy expert. I travel around the country talking to kids, men, women, anybody who would listen about how to get out of debt if they're in debt, how to not get in debt if they're not in debt, and how to stay out of debt. And so what I did, many, many years of trials and tribulations, is I wrote this book. It's called Mindset First, Money Second, the things I did to stop living paycheck to paycheck, because, y'all, I was broke. I mean, I couldn't pay attention. I was broke. And so let me tell you how I got started in this journey. I was in the Army, as Chris said, and my first sergeant told me, one of your soldiers bounced a check. And in the Army, if your soldier bounced a check, you got to get him squared away. If your soldier get in trouble, you got to make sure you mentor him and get him on the right track. So I had to get squared away at first. So I went and started doing some research on things I need to do to make sure my soldier never bounced a check again. And so I sat him down. We sat him down for about an hour. We went over things about how to balance a checkbook. This is how long ago that was. And I told him about things he needed to do to make sure he was squared away. And he got on the right track. Well, he told somebody, who told somebody, who told somebody, and the next thing you know, I'm the financial guy in the unit. So everybody started coming to me, asking me for financial advice. And so from there, it just took on from 2 or 3 people to 10 or 15 people. The next thing you know, I'm speaking to churches, I'm speaking to youth groups, I'm speaking to brothers in my fraternity, I'm speaking to 500 people, and next thing you know, I got a book called Mindset First, Money Second. Now, my wife is on this book as well because the information was in my head, but I couldn't get it in this format, and she said, I can do that. And I said, okay. So we sat down many, many weeks on the couch in front of the television. I would talk, she would type, and we came up with this phenomenal product. And this is my contribution to society, my contribution to the community, is to make sure our young men and women more particularly, but anyone, but our young men and women more particularly, will read this book, learn the things that I teach so that they can avoid the pitfalls. Our problems that we have in our community are represented by a pie. And one of the slices of the pie is financial literacy. And I've dedicated the rest of my life, as long as my mom said, until my head gets cold, to teaching young men and women and making sure they understand the importance of financial literacy. Imagine this. Imagine if our young kids between the age of 15 and 25 learn financial literacy and practice great money management. They will be on the path, the trajectory towards financial independence. But if they don't, they will spend at least a decade trying to get out of it, trying to make up for it. At least. At least. And I tell my young men and women, ask people who are over 40, because they didn't know financial literacy, the basic things of how to buy a house, how to make your money make money, how long it took them to get out of that hole. It takes quite some time. So, I was born in Chicago, Illinois. We grew up really, really poor, and I knew from a very early age that we were poor, and my auntie set me on the path to entrepreneurship. And let me tell you how she did it, without even knowing it. I knew we didn't have any money, so I was a young kid. I was 13 years old, and I wanted some money, and I didn't have any way to make it. So I went to the local A&P, and I stood outside the store, and I asked people for spare change. Sir, got spare change? Ma'am, got spare change? I did it all day. I went home. I had a pocket full of change. And my aunt said, boy, where'd you get all that money from? And I said, too easy. I stood out front of A&P, and I asked people for spare change. My auntie was enraged, and she whipped my tail and took every penny that I collected and said, don't you ever beg anybody for money. You go out and make your money. So the next day, I was a little sore. I went back out on the curb and said, how am I going to make money? Well, I was sitting on the curb, and this is going to date me, but a 1978 Deuce and a Quarter drove by and hit a pothole, and the hubcap came off, and it rolled right past me. And I was still sulking from yesterday. I got up, went and got the hubcap, because the guy pulled over to get out of the car and get it. I got the hubcap, and I ran to him, and I gave it to him. Just gave him back the hubcap. He reached in his pocket and gave me $1. I got a business, y'all. I stood right there on that curb and prayed that cars hit that pothole and prayed that their hubcap came off so that I can chase that hubcap, and hopefully that person will give me some change or something for returning that hubcap. The next day I'm sitting out there, because now this is my job, y'all. I'm sitting on the curb by the pothole. And a few of my friends came by and they said, hey, we're about to go to the park. Come with us. And I said, I'm good. I'm just chilling. And they said, you're not going to come? What you doing? Nothing. Just chilling. They kept walking, and right as they walked away, a car hit the pothole. Hubcap came off. I chased it, gave the guy the hubcap. He gave me money. My friends saw it. Now we have what you call competition. It's 3 of us on the curb now, and I'm the slowest one there. So I started a business, and now I learned what competition is. But innovation and being smart is also a part of business. What they didn't know, that I had a deal with the guy down at the tire shop. Every hubcap I brought him, he would give me $1 for it, because some people didn't know their hubcap came off and would just keep driving. I would collect those hubcaps, take it to him, he'd give me $1 a piece. My auntie started all this from whooping my tail from asking for money at the A&P. So at the age of 13, I was an entrepreneur. I did everything in the hood in the south side of Chicago to make money legally, morally, and ethically. I shined shoes, I carried groceries, I shoveled snow, I mowed lawns, I did newspaper, I sold peanuts on the corner until a female softball team robbed me. And I stopped doing that. But I've been an entrepreneur all my life, okay? So, what I want to project to the audience is I had to start somewhere. And the place that I started was I had my epiphany. I had my epiphany from my aunt, but later on in life, I had my epiphany from my daughter. I thought I was a man in high school, and I unfortunately got a young lady pregnant. But I promised that my daughter would not suffer the things that I suffered when I was growing up, or not having a responsible father. So I got custody of my daughter when she was 9 years of age, because I quite honestly told her mom, I think I can do a better job. When my daughter came to live with me, I was in the Army. When she came to live with me, this is when you could walk up to the jet bridge and see your loved ones get off the plane. Her whole body and her whole aura spoke to me, and she said, without speaking a word, I need you. And that was my epiphany. That was the day I said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, having people threaten me to repossess my car, to garnish my check. My daughter made me a better man. She made me a better man, a more responsible person. So I'm asking you, what is your epiphany? Have you had that moment where you said you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, of people calling you, of not having enough money to do the things you want to do, of not having enough money to send your kids on a field trip when they go to school? I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and that day just solidified everything for me. So the first thing I had to do was find my moment, and that was my moment. The next thing I had to do was to make sure that I was living beneath my means. And I tell my young people, if you make $40,000 a year, spend 30. If you make 60, spend 45. Always live beneath your means. Now, I'm not going to use the B word, which is budget. A lot of people don't like that word. So let's call it a spending plan. You have to have a spending plan where you are living beneath your means. And here's exactly what I did. Because I was living paycheck to paycheck, what I did is I had my moment, and then I started saving money that I was giving away. And the first thing I did was I increased my income tax withholdings. Now, we really can't do that today because it's a bit more difficult, but I was carrying 0 exemptions when I got paid, and I just increased it to 1. And what they did was they took out $75 less a pay period out, and I put it in the bank. Now, when income tax time came, I got less on income tax return, but really I didn't because it was in my account anyway. And so I did that. The next thing I did was I curved my social spending. Instead of going out to the club on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I only went out on Saturday. I'm a movie guy. Instead of going to the movies on every weekend, I went every other weekend. And with that being said, I saved myself about $150 a month. So I took that $300 a month I was giving away, and I just started saving it until I had a nest egg. My nest egg was about $2,000. And once I got $2,000, I started snowballing my debt. I took that $300 and I put it towards my lowest credit card debt. And once that was paid off, 6 or 7 months, I took that $50 I was paying on that, added it to my $300, now I had $350, and I took that $350 and put it towards my next lowest credit card debt. And once that was paid off, I had $450 because that was a $100 bill, and I took that $450 and I put it towards my next credit card debt. Then I took that, once that was paid off, in about 7 months, I took another $150 and put it toward that. I got $600 a month, and I put it towards my next credit card debt. And I know y'all said, "Dag, JB, you got a lot of debt." I did. I had credit cards everywhere, and all of them were maxed out. If it was a $500 max, it was maxed. If it was a $700 max, it was maxed. But once I did that and used that discipline and used my daughter as motivation and got all those credit cards paid off, I had over $600 a month I had nothing to do with. And because I'm now practicing discipline, I got my credit card bills paid off, I got a nest egg of $2,000, and I got $600 a month I'm not doing anything with. I took that $600 a month and I split it into thirds. 200, 200, 200. I saved a third of it, I invested a third of it, and I increased my standard of living, and I took the $200 and I enjoyed it. But I did that for 7 years. Every time I got a raise, Every time somebody cut me a break, if I knew somebody that was doing brakes on their car and he saved me $100, I would split it into thirds. I would save a third of it. I would invest a third of it. I would spend a third of it. I did that for 7 years, religiously for 7 years. And I had $100,000 in the bank after 7 years. And after that, I started to be a real estate investor because my aunt owned a property when I was growing up, and I saw her making money, and I said I wanted to be a real estate investor. So between the time I was saving that money for 7 years, I bought two books. One was called Real Estate Investment for Dummies. One was called Property Management for Dummies. I studied those books backwards and forwards for 7 years. I knew every page in the doggone book. But when I had enough money, now I can invest in real estate because now I have the knowledge and I have the capital. And let me tell you a quick story how I went from, I call it 0 to 8. So I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, when I finally had enough money to invest in real estate. And I finally had the knowledge to invest in real estate. And I also got a mentor who had properties as well. I had an opportunity to buy a fourplex that was being built. I had the money to put the down payment on, and my property manager actually got 4 tenants in the property before it was even finished being built. So when the property was finished being built, I had already financed it, closed on it, had 4 tenants. They signed year leases. I'm good to go. I didn't touch a dime of the net income that I was making. And it was about $2,000 a month because I had 4 properties, 4 doors, right? Well, the guy that did the exact same thing a couple of duplexes down, instead of saving the money, he spent the money, got a new car, got a new house, and got 2 more girlfriends, right? So he was broke. So my property manager came to me after about 13 months and said, that guy wants to sell his property because he can't manage it right. And I said, I have every dime that I made in this real estate investment, so I'm ready to buy that one. So I went from 0 doors to 8 doors in 18 months, and I didn't spend a dime of it. And I kept buying more. Then I bought a house. Then I bought another house and renovated it and sold it. And I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. And what I didn't tell you when I came up here is that I'm now what I term financially independent. I do not have to work. Let me show you my alarm clock. Look close. When my eyes open, that's when I get up. When I met my wife and we were dating, I told her, if you have a problem with me making the money I make and not going, leaving the house, then I'm not your guy. Because I don't want to work. The Army worked me for 25 years. I don't want to work anymore. I want to dedicate my life to traveling around, talking to people like you all about my story so that I can motivate people to fill that void, that slice of pie in our communities to help and assist people move to the next level. And that's what I've been doing since 2010, traveling around the country. And it all culminated with this book. And my story is in this book of how I went from, as Drake says, started from the bottom, now we're here, right? And so it's a blessed life. I am happy beyond measure that I can wake up and do the things that I love to do. Chris hit me up some time ago and said, JB, are you free on the 13th? And I said, Chris, I got a paid event, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that. But if I don't, if something happens, then I'm going to be there. And that fell through. So I told Chris, hey, Chris, I'm here. I'm here to speak. I'm here to give my knowledge. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to motivate because that's what we need in our communities. And that's why I'm here. That's what God has put me on this earth for. And doggone it, I'm going to do it until my head turn cold. So, Chris, that's my spiel. I will open up the floor for questions. If anybody have questions, we are going to do a panel, I understand. And, of course, we can ask questions then. But I'm here for any questions you all may have on anything that I've discussed, my book, my life, credit, debt, real estate investing. I know we have people, experts around the building as well. I've been doing that story that I told you. I bought that property in 99. So I've been doing real estate investing since then and buying properties all over the country because being in the Army, everywhere I went, I bought a home and eventually sold it or rented it out, and you know, I'm a landlord as well. And hell, I don't mind being a landlord. I just got a team, so it is what it is. So I'll open up the floor for any questions you all may have. Go ahead, young man. Right now, I just sold 3 properties because I'm looking to buy land and build an apartment complex. So right now, I own 2 duplexes and 2 homes. And I sold 2 fourplexes and 3 homes because right now I'm going to accumulate funds and start a apartment complex. And because I want to do the generational where I just have it and my daughter, my grandkids, their kids can live off that if they are financially astute. And so I give them tests. And if you ask my grandson today, what is he getting in my will, he'll tell you $0 because he hasn't gotten up to that point where he won't spend my money. And so I give my kinfolks, the ones that are, I think it's important that not only we find out what to do with Big Mama's house, but we leave Big Mama's house with someone that's responsible enough, like this young man, to carry on that and not sell it and blow the money, and now we're back at ground zero. And I think it's important that we groom our young people, and because everybody is not financially astute, they can learn, but some are better than others. And I think it's important that we identify those at an early age to be able to take over the reins, and those that are going to continue that legacy with money and not just say, there it is. I can't tell you how many times people have handed down money and that money goes away because the person they give it to is not financially, fiscally responsible. And I think that's important. Any other questions before we move forward? Any other questions? Say again? Okay. He said I could. Go ahead, young lady. My book. We are going to give away some books now, but my book is on Amazon. It's on Amazon under Mindset First, Money Second. I do have copies here to sell as well, but we're going to give. But we're going to give away some books as well, and so just stay tuned for that. Just stay tuned for that. Any other questions? Go ahead, young man. Right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. A mentor is very important. A mentor is very important. The young lady stood up here today and said, "Speak to a realtist." Realtist can lead you to a mentor. And let me tell you, by happenstance, I found a mentor.
Hello?
Once again, I was in the Army, and I was stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. And I was an instructor. And our kids, the soldiers, took computer-based testing. And we took them to a lab so they can test out. And so there's a gentleman named Mr. Ortiz that ran that lab. So I worked with Mr. Ortiz many, many months. And one day, while the kids were taking the test, I asked Mr. Ortiz, they're in the room taking the test, computer-based test. I asked Mr. Ortiz, tell me something about you that a lot of people don't know. He said, good question. I
today as well. And I'm glad you guys in here, and I'm glad we're streaming as well. Like I always tell people, I don't care if it's 1 or 1 million. I'm going to give you the same talk and the same energy no matter what. And once again, I'm Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler Agency Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas. And I'm excited to have these guys here on the stage with me today to answer questions. I'm actually going to shoot them some questions as well, because we said, like I said earlier, we said this session is supposed to be technically for people, younger folks, college age and younger, you know, but once again, we're all young at heart. And like you said, you have some people who hadn't had the opportunity to get the education. Like I tell people all the time, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant, there's something wrong with being stupid. Let me tell you the difference. I do financial talks all the time. I do property and casualty insurance like the home, auto, and things like that, but my 1B is financial products and financial literacy as well. Talking about life insurance, 401ks, and things of that magnitude. Because what you find out in the African-American community, black community, Negro, color, whatever we're going to say these days, you know, that a lot of people, you know, don't know and hadn't had the access to this information. And what I mean when I say by ignorant, I had financial literacy growing up from, they say, knee-high to caterpillar, from my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. And like JB said, I knew better. I was stupid. I wasn't ignorant. I was stupid. I knew better and still got myself into a financial quandary where I got myself in debt. A lot of times I knew the tools that I needed to do to get out of that, not to be in that situation, but I still did it. Ignorance is when you hadn't had that opportunity for somebody to educate you or talk to you about that to get you in the right direction. So that's how I always start off my talks from that standpoint as well. And Rod and I, we work closely together because he's in the mortgage business, and our goal is not to only get you in the house, is to keep you in the house. And like he said, he's not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. I'm a consultant. And what I mean by that, I've had situations where I've actually told people, I've actually convinced people not to go with me because it wasn't financially astute for them to do that at the time. I'm blessed the fact that I have a great reputation. I'm a man, a God-fearing man, a man of integrity. But with that being said, those are the things you have to let people know. And some people say, Chris, are you doing a Jedi mind trick? You trying to have to get me to go with you, so I'll go with you. I said, no, that's not the case. I want to do what's going to be best for you. But with that being said, I'm going to talk to Rod C. here and ask him a question, too, about, you know, we have youth or younger people. And I'm going to say youth or younger people. There's people in general. I'm going to quit saying that because we have a lot of people here today who are older in the 50s, 60s, who we saw earlier when Roz asked that question, when Laura asked that question, who's actually bought a home or had a home, and we still have people who are older who have not been there. So, Rod, that being said, kind of give the audience and the streaming audience as well kind of some insight on some things they might need to do to kind of get them going in the right direction when it comes to buying a home.
Can y'all hear me? Okay. As a mortgage loan officer, one of the things I'm listening to JB's story is that before he even started getting into mortgages, get into investing, he had the why, but he also got his situation together. So he didn't just jump out there and say, hey, I want 8 doors tomorrow, I want 1 door tomorrow. The first thing he said is, I got to get my financial situation together. And a lot of times, it's kind of like coming to the church. Pastors always say, come as you are. And as a loan officer for the past 20 years, I say the exact same thing. People are so scared to talk to me because their credit isn't where they need to be or they don't have money in the bank. But a good loan officer is not going to worry about that. They're going to take a look at your situation, and they're going to give you tips and tactics on how to get where you need to be. It may take you 3 months. It may take you 6 months. It may take you 2 years or whatever it took you. But at the end of the day, come as you are. Therefore, we can help you get to where you want to be. If you want to be an investor, we can do that. If you want to own a home, we can do that. If you want to own an apartment complex and build, you can do that too as well. But you got to come first as you are. Not be afraid that somebody's going to tell you no, but just understand that somebody's going to tell you how.
And we're going to bring another person to the stage. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Okay, Kip. We got Kip Dixon, the VP, Assistant VP for Community Lending with Cadence Bank. He's a member of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So we got, I guess 3 out of the Divine 9 here today because some other people couldn't make it for one reason or another. So we're going to put them in our prayers because one person had to go to a funeral and some other things came up. So we definitely uplift them in prayer here later on today. But Kip, what we've been just talking about, how we're trying to get people to understand. We said initially, it says legacies leaving legacies and, starting fresh from that standpoint. And a lot of times it's geared towards younger people. But like we said earlier, we're trying to get away from that thought process to a certain extent because we have a lot of people, especially in the African American community, who have not had the exposure to get the information that we're presenting today. So we'd just like to get some insight from you, from the Cadence Bank standpoint, and more first and foremost from your standpoint, of what you think can be a benefit from what you do and how to help the community out for this situation.
Thank you. Can y'all hear me? Awesome.
Look closer to you
Look
now.
closer. Gosh, I have a loud voice. I think one of the things that I know what we're doing is we're getting out in the communities to teach and teach folks about the credit, what to look for. Some of the giving them some of that secret sauce on what they need to do and how they need to work on certain things to get them prepared to be able to leave a legacy. I know that one of the things that I just shared in the class is I put all my boys on a credit card when they were in the 8th grade, and to immediately start building their credit. And I paid $10 each year on something and paid that puppy off. The reason I did that is because I wanted them to start out on the right foot. Because I'm seeing a lot of young folks that come in and they have no credit, but believe it or not, you can still get a house with no credit. But at the same token, I want to give my kids an extra leg up. And in doing so, they're getting black cards. They're getting all these nice credit cards in the mail. And I'm like, thank you, but nope, zip, and throwing them away. But that's what I've done. And I just had a son to go over at North Texas as an alpha, and I know that's something that they're really good about in teaching the legacy of giving back to the community, learning financial peace and things of that nature.
And one of the things I want to mention too, like I said, once again, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and one thing we have is a program called Guide Right, which we have the Kappa League. And what's awesome about that, we take young men from the ages from 11 to 18. We try to get them as young as possible. Like I said, we can get it, like Kim just said, to kind of get them started and get them going. So the earlier you learn, the better you learn, and then you'll be able to put those things in the process. And like I said, to get them prepared not only from a financial standpoint, we try to get them prepared from an educational standpoint. And even like I tell people sometimes too, I actually had a post the other day on my site, on my Facebook site, and there are other options too in order to get financial wealth as well. You don't necessarily have to go to college. That was the path I took. I think that, of course, these gentlemen on the stage as well took as well. But sometimes that's not for everybody. But with that being said, you don't have to have a college degree to be financially astute from that standpoint. And one thing that I did as an insurance agent, like I talked to my customers, in order for you to have your own policy, you have to be at least 18 years old. So one thing I try to do, if it's feasible, is to get them, like he said earlier, to get them started on their own policy because they can start building up their credit, their history, and things like that. Because sometimes we as African Americans, we have a late start when it comes to these type things. And sometimes it's just a lack of understanding because I've run into situations where people will say sometimes, I have customers where, they started bills and things of that nature, and like he is 2 years old and already in debt already at 2 years old, So, I mean, those things, it sounds funny, but those things kind of really happen, light bills. And then sometimes kids don't find this out until they get ready to go to college or they start their life and they find out, I never got this, They said, well, you said you had it for 13 years and you 18, so that means you got that when you were 5 years old. And that actually happens. So we try to really get people out of that mindset. And even, too, sometimes like with these GoFundMes, and I'm just going to talk briefly, like with life insurance, they have different type of policies. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but we do have a policy and a product like called Term Life, which is extremely cheap to get started. If somebody would get that, it'll just save you an immense amount of time from a standpoint of digging into your personal funds from that standpoint, and also get them when you're younger as well because they have other products as well because when you get them, in fact, y'all give me a round of applause. I became a pawpaw on this past Wednesday. I'm a granddad for the first time. And I'm already getting my granddaughter's stuff set up already because from life insurance, and sometimes we as African Americans sometimes think, oh, that's creepy getting a life insurance policy on a kid. But that's not the purpose for you getting it because those if you get the certain products, they build up cash value. So when later on in life, they get older, 18, 24, it's built up equity and finances from that standpoint. So they're able to use it for either college, to purchase a car, put a down payment on a home or something like that. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to teach our kids at a young age. So Rod, kind of give us some of your experiences, you coming up, your personal experiences as well, to kind of let the audience know how you got to where you were, or not where you are, and growing.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm sitting there listening to JB talk, and everything that JB did right, I did wrong. The opposite, right? And part of it was when I was, in my 20s and 30s, I built up a bunch of debt. I went out, thought I could be an investor, and I bought a bunch of houses, because back then, if you could breathe, they gave you a house. You didn't have to prove anything, right? But the one thing that I didn't do is I didn't have a mentor. And it's so funny because my father, whole life, was a business owner. Owned real estate, owned halfway houses, owned nursery schools, all this. But in our community, we always never really talked about it at the dinner table. Like, we didn't have conversations. I'm sitting here watching him being successful, but he never did say anything about it, right? He would just be just successful. And so I'm going to follow in his footsteps. But I didn't use him as a mentor. And I think sometimes we, especially in our community, we don't want to share and we don't want to give because we think that's competition or crabs in a barrel, whatever the situation is, whatever the reason is. But I would say we got to stick together and we got to pass the information on. Harold Carter cannot be talking about what his experiences is 50 years from now. Now, Harold think he's going to live to be 120. I don't know. But even if he is, there's got to be other stories. JB got to tell his story for 50 years. Your granddaughter got to tell her stories 50. Everybody got to continue to pass that information on. And really, from my perspective, my story is I try to do it by myself. And it took until I was 40 to realize I need even at 40, I need somebody to mentor me. I need to read, and I need to find that person standing outside that room and say, how do I do this, right? Instead of just trying to get out there and do it on my own. And anybody you work with, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end. Anybody you work with, especially in the realtist environment, especially somebody like the people on this stage right here, they're always got a heart of an educator. You only want to work with people that have a heart of an educator. If you work with somebody and they treat you like a transaction, then that's not the person to be working with. My goal is to make sure that even if you don't work with me, that you decide that when you leave me, you've actually got some information that you can use going forward.
Because let me briefly say this. I talk to my young undergraduate brothers and tell them there are things that have nothing to do with money that have everything to do with money. And let me explain briefly. We all need to have a life plan. Your life plan consists of 5 things. We go about life and we just go down the road, and you need to have a life plan. The first thing on your life plan is your health plan. You need to know what your blood. This stuff can save you a lot of money, right?
Your health is your wealth.
You need to know what your optimal blood pressure, your optimal blood sugar, your optimal cholesterol. You need to know what these things are, and if they're not in the zones that they need to be, sit down with your physician and have a plan to get there. You need to have a health plan. You need to have a career/education plan, a plan for your career, where you are right now, where you're going to be in 5 years. I should be able to ask you that, and you should be able to spit it out, especially if you're in college. You know what classes you're going to take, how much you're going to owe when you get out of school, if anything, and what you're going to be making in that profession, and make sure it's a wise profession to choose. Then you need to have a family plan. If your family like mine, some of them you got to love from a distance. Then I will tell you on the flip side, you are not going to get as far as you can, as fast as you can, without the support and cheerleaders on your sideline to bring you along. So you have to have a plan for family. You, of course, have to have a plan for finances. You have to make sure that all your finances are in order, and make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that is squared away. And then you have to have a spiritual plan. You have to have the person, a God that you sit down to and say, give me the guidance to move forward. Give me the strength. Give me the strength to avoid the pitfalls. If you don't have a plan for all 5 of those things, I'm not saying you're not going to be successful, but but your path to success is exponentially harder. That means real, real hard. Right? And so that's what I tell my young kids. Get you a life plan so that when I walk up to you and ask you where you're at in 5 years, in all of those categories, you can tell me and you're well on your way to be successful.
And
It has nothing to do with money, but has everything to do with money. So,
And I'm going to wrap it up here because we got like about 3 more minutes. And one thing, Kip, JB, and Rob for being up here on the stage. Let's give them a round of applause.
oh, before you say that, Chris, I passed out books for people that were here during my presentation. So those people have them, and he just got that one because he was here as well. So I gave those books out to people who were here. So that's my gift to you. So that's what I did, Chris.
Okay. And the thing is, too, like I said, going back to HBCU, how many people know what HBCU is? Raise your hand if you know what HBCU is. And the thing is, like I said, I attended HBCU, Historically Black College and University, and the thing that you get there is what you're getting up on the stage right there. Sometimes when you go to PWI, which is a predominantly white institution, you don't get the education of life. Because believe it or not, and I have friends who went to PWI and said they weren't prepared to deal with corporate America or, the Anglo world or the mainstream world. And one thing is at HBCU, that's the thing they teach you. And one thing I tell, too, when you come to HBCU, when companies are looking for people, qualified people, they come to HBCU. And like I said, the guys on the stage with me right now, you have salespeople. These are all consultants up here. We're consultants because we're going to try to do what's going to be best for the individual and that customer, even if it means not going with us. And one thing he said earlier, we got a motto, is collaboration over competition. And thing is with me, I actually mentor 2 people from 2 different insurance companies. People are like, why are you mentoring them? They're not with your company. I said, it's enough business out there for everybody. I just want to see people succeed. And that's going to be the blessing I give. And one thing I tell people about my Allstate Insurance Agency, the Ziegler Agency, I said that's my ministry because I go outside the 4 walls of what we do on a daily basis from insurance. I've helped people get jobs. I actually lead people to go to church. I do 4 things a year as far as community service is concerned because I tell people, keep doing what you're doing for Thanksgiving, keep doing what you're doing for Christmas, but people need help all year round. So I have something every quarter that I do, and NARAB has been my fraternity. In fact, all the Divine Eye, and people in general, my church community. I go to one community church in Prosper. Everybody has been essential and helped me to fulfill the goals of helping these people. And it's because of my biblical and religious and spiritual belief that we do that. Once again, I want to thank these gentlemen for being on the stage with us today. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you guys for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next year and to see you not only next year, to hopefully talk to us here in the very near future for things to come. Thank you.
All right, that was amazing. Let's give it up again for the Divine Nine. Mr. Chris, thank you for a job well done. JB McGinnis, thank you. And all of the other panel speakers. So right now, what we are doing, we are still having fun. Just wanted to bring to your attention what's happening now. We will do another giveaway shortly. We are bringing to the stage momentarily Jermaine Riley with Wells Fargo and Mr. James Brown with Chase. So, is Roz Miller here? Okay. James Brown with Chase and Jermaine Riley with Wells. So during the interim, while we break for the transition, I just wanted to remind you, you should have your little scavenger card with all of the vendors who are present today on them. You want to go to each booth and receive a little sticker. We will have a drawing for a prize by you doing so. Plus, you want to get all that great information to help empower you in your next. Somebody needs to say this out loud and hear yourself say this. This is my winning season. Can you say that? Yes, it is. This is my winning season. Okay? Also, if you have not done so, if you have registered, please fill out the little registration questionnaire because we are also going to be having a drawing. We'd like to honor and say thank you in a special way to our St. Andrew volunteer family. We are going to have a couple of drawings, especially for you. Make sure that you get your red ticket from Miss Roz Miller. And Miss Roz Miller, in case she didn't tell y'all, she is the executive director for McKinney Housing Authority. So she is here today serving quietly, incognito. She's a powerful woman, not only for the Housing Authority, City of McKinney, but she serves community everywhere she goes. And today she said, I am here for y'all. I am here for you. Whatever you need, I am serving. So make sure, St. Andrew family, you get your red ticket. You can get it at the registration desk. We will have some drawings for you as well. Just to give you a heads up of what's to come, we're going to be in here the next 30, 40 minutes with Wells Fargo and Chase. But immediately following that, we are going to have a lunch break and give everybody just some cooling off period for you to enjoy the music. Go let the kids play out in the bounce house. We have Kids Zone in room number 2, I believe. We have people there that are attending to them. We have some financial coloring books. We have face painting. We got snacks for the kids. So we have something for everybody. And it's not too late. We'll be here to 2:30 today, and we're just getting started. But we just want to thank Miss Karen with Karen Hands for the lunch that they are providing. When we do break for lunch and we make this announcement again, everyone will leave the sanctuary and you'll go to the fellowship hall, which is down the hall to the left. So you make an immediate left and you'll see the signs for the fellowship hall, and grab your sack lunch. And then you can sit in the fellowship hall and talk, catch up on some business, or you can make your way back outside and visit the booth and just enjoy the music and the sun. Isn't it a beautiful day? It is such a beautiful day. Could not have had more perfect weather. Okay. Okay. JB McGinnis is here. He still has some books. So please go see him. JB, would you raise your hand? Yes. He has more books. So make sure that you go see him. Okay, Jermaine Riley. Oh. Uh-oh, it's drawing time. They keeping me on board, y'all. Okay. 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 This is for St. Andrew. St. Andrew Church of God in Christ. Everybody not here? Well, you have to be present to win. Thank you. Okay, what we're going to do so that we don't prolong, they're out there serving. They're working. So everybody can't be in here at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and pull a ticket. And Miss Jackie, what is this for? What will they get? The food? What is it? Grocery bags of food. Grocery bags of food, perishables and frozen items, which I think are in the freezer. Are the frozen items in the freezer? Yes. Okay. Ticket number 475. 0371. Oh, Miss Betty? Did you win? Oh, okay. Ticket number again is 4750371. That is our winner. And Miss Roz is going to go find them. We will do this again how many more times? 5. 5 more times. Well, I think we can afford to do one more. Let me pull, since we got 5. We're going to do 2 now and two later, and then 1 at the end. Ticket number 4750351. 4750351. Okay, Miss Roz, those are the 2 winners. Make sure everyone in a maroon shirt, burgundy shirt, gets a ticket. And so they are the recipients of, yes, give a hand clap. All right. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. We're 3 minutes behind. We're trying to make it up in the air and stay ahead. Is Miss Jermaine Riley here from Wells? Come on up, Miss Riley.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Well, I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of the sponsors, to thank NARAB for inviting Wells Fargo and just, letting us be a part of this great event. So I have been with Wells Fargo probably about going on 10 years. And Wells Fargo has always been committed to the community. We've had some challenges in the past, but we have acknowledged those challenges, and we are looking to reach out to the community and to help the community and to offer opportunities for home ownership. When you walk into our branches, depending on which areas you're in, you will find a mortgage consultant. The mortgage consultant may not necessarily be sitting there, but if you speak to a banker, they can get you in touch with a mortgage consultant that can help you face to face, that can help you to go through your situation, whether it be financial, whether it be credit, whether it be just trying to get to someone that can assist you with finding a home, a realtist, and getting the entire process together, because it does take a team. It takes your title company. It takes your realtist. It may take you working with a banker to get your savings in order. However, that person that is in that branch is committed to helping you become a homeowner. And Wells Fargo has put a lot of time, and effort into making sure that when you come in, when you decide, hey, I do want to become a homeowner, that we have programs that will assist you. Because as we all know, you need some place to live. And we can all pay rent. And when I say that, 9.5 peak times, people will come in and they can afford to make their rental payment. They can afford to pay the $1,500. A lot of times it's $2,500. They can afford to make that rental payment, which a lot of times equates to your monthly mortgage payment. However, the challenge comes in with the down payment. So we have, come up with some possible solutions. and ways that we can assist you in getting to that point. Now, you have to meet us, meet us halfway, but we are willing and able to help you get the whole way. So today I'm just going to talk to you about a few products that Wells Fargo offers that will help along with that. So the products that I'm going to go over will be Builder Best, our corporate mortgage program, Union Plus, the Dream Home Plan, and our Access Grant program. So first with Builder Best. So that is a program that has been established if you are looking to buy what we consider a new build. So a home that has never been occupied before. So that would be considered a new build or new construction. And I'm sure you've probably heard some horror stories where, maybe your friends or relatives are looking to buy a home and they've put a down payment on a property that's a new build. And it was supposed to be ready in 60 days. Well, now we're 6 months out, and they still do not have that home ready to be moved into. So now you run into other, situations with not having a place to live or having to make some temporary arrangements. With the Builder Best program, Wells Fargo has partnered with some builders or with certain builders where we have a relationship. And in that relationship, we are able to do what we call an extended lock period. And that extended lock period can go out a full 12 months or 1 year. So with the market not being as stable as it has been as it was 3 or 4 years ago, it allows you to lock your rate in and have that rate available to you even though your builder may not close on time or have that home ready for you on time. In addition to that, if that relationship exists with Wells Fargo, you can also be the recipient of a $1,000 credit, and we will provide that to you if that relationship exists. So again, these are things that you need to talk to your mortgage consultant about to see those programs that Wells Fargo has available for you. The next thing I'm going to talk about is our corporate mortgage program. Now, with this program, Wells Fargo has reached out to Fortune 500 companies, and we have partnered with those companies. And those companies will offer what we call the corporate mortgage program. Well, what is that? What that means is once you apply for a mortgage, you want to ask your consultant, hey, this is where I work. Are there any benefits? So one of the companies might be Procter & Gamble. So if you're employed with that particular company, all right, we'll look and we will evaluate and say, hey, we have partnered with Procter & Gamble, and Procter & Gamble will give you $500 at your closing for a purchase. And if you actually refinance with Wells Fargo and that company is a part of our program, they will give you $300. And that $300 or $500 can be utilized usually through some sort of gift program. So if you're moving into your new home, you might need a refrigerator, you might need a new washer, or some other major appliance. And it allows you to make those purchases with that gift card. Now, coupled with that also is our Union Plus program. So if you are a member of a union, and one that is very popular here in the DFW area is UAW. So with the UAW program, if you are an eligible member, okay, of the UAW and you're paying your dues, you will be eligible again for that same benefit. You'll be eligible for the $500 if you purchase, and $300 if it is a refinance. Now, not only does that benefit extend to you as an active member of the UAW, it also extends to your family members. So if you have a son or if you have a daughter that is purchasing a home, that benefit would also extend to them. So they would be eligible to receive the $500 if it is a purchase and the $300 if it is a refinance. We just have to, verify that you would be the, eligible UAW union member. And it works vice versa. So, hey, just put it out there. If you know someone that's purchasing, if your children are looking to purchase, they can be the recipient of that also. As an active UAW union member, you will also be eligible for what has been deemed as strike benefits. So if for some reason, which we know it has happened in the past, your company goes on strike, if you have an involuntary furlough or a furlough, okay, if you come across maybe some financial hardship, the UAW, if you have financed through Wells Fargo, will assist you with your mortgage payments. And they will do that up to 12 months. Okay? It is an interest-free loan, but they will assist you with making those mortgage payments. It doesn't pay your taxes and insurance, but it will pay the principal and insurance on the mortgage in order to keep you current with your mortgage. And to date, I know that they have paid over $12 million in assisting their union members. So that is another program that we can look at, and that, make sure that that's something that may be able to assist you as you're making your decision as to what lender you're looking to utilize. So again, Wells Fargo is committed, okay, to making sure that when you do receive that mortgage, all right, that you're able to continue to pay that mortgage. All right, we have, again, we'll make every effort to make sure that you are successful, okay, during the life of your loan. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is a plan that we have called the Dream Home Plan. And the Dream Home Plan is available to purchasers that are looking to purchase their primary home. It does have to be a primary home. And you would receive up to $5,000 toward your closing cost or closing fees. And again, this is just for purchase properties. So you wouldn't be able to, or primary properties, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be, a resident, second home or anything like that, just your primary residence. There are some income qualifications with it. However, you can simply go over that information with your loan officer or your mortgage consultant. And this plan is available if you are looking to secure a VA loan. And I don't know if everyone is aware, but with VA, you are not required to have a down payment. So if you're purchasing a home for $250,000, you would not be required to put down any funds towards your down payment. It would only be funds, only thing that you would be responsible for, of course, would be your closing fees. And this can help and assist with your closing fees. So again, that's less money out of your pocket. And this can also be layered with some of the programs that I just previously mentioned. If you're a union member, okay, you can also layer that with that program. And with the union program also, remember we have the corporate mortgage program. So if you are, employed by one of those corporate programs or corporate companies that we have partnered with, you would also be available to receive those benefits. So you're able to actually layer, okay, these funds. So not such a bad deal. And lastly, I want to talk to you about is the Home Access Grant. Now, this is something that Wells Fargo has recently provided to the community. and it's a $10,000 grant. It is a true grant. You do not have to pay it back. So basically, it's free money. And like I tell people, I can always afford free. So $10,000, and that $10,000 is to be used toward your down payment. So if your home is $200,000, $10,000 would go toward helping you with that down payment. Like I mentioned earlier, we can make that monthly payment. That's not usually the challenge. The challenge comes in with us having enough money for the down payment and the closing costs. And $10,000 is a big help. Okay, so again, like I mentioned, you have to meet us halfway. Okay, but if we come with $10,000, all right, that's a big help towards getting there. But not only that, okay, the $5,000 that I mentioned previously, in terms of helping you with the closing costs, you can also layer that on top of the $10,000. So now we're talking how much? $15,000. So now you have $15,000, all right, in order to purchase your home. So if you meet with your mortgage consultant and that mortgage consultant says, hey, you need $20,000 for down payment and closing costs. I'm getting a card. I don't know how many minutes that was. You need, $20,000 for down payment and closing costs, but we're giving you 15. Okay, so you can take that $15,000, apply it towards your down payment, towards your closing costs, okay, and then you would have to come with the rest of the money. If you're fortunate enough and you have a very savvy realtist and they can get you some closing cost credits from the seller, you may not have to come up with much more than that. So again, it's very important, like the previous panels have mentioned, that you have a team. I would get on the phone with that realtist and I would say, hey, we're short $2,500. Can you negotiate with the seller? So you may only have to come up with $2,500. There are ways that we can assist you to get to that end goal, to get to home ownership. You just have to, again, to have the courage to walk through the door. Nobody's perfect. Every single person that's here from Wells Fargo, we're committed, okay? And we do it from the heart. It is passionate. Most of us have been doing this for more than 15, I'm gonna say 20 plus years for me, and we are committed, all right? People that we help to get mortgages, we bond a relationship with, and we bond that relationship because we are committed. My colleague in the back, Consuela, she is on our leaderboard with having repeat customers. You know why she has repeat customers? Because she helps people passionately. She helps them passionately, and we all do. We all do. When you come in to meet with us, everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different path to home ownership, and we are committed to making sure we help you to go down your path, whatever that path may be. Thank you. And I think James Brown is next from Chase.